Name, Victoria Azarenka. Country, Belarus. Sport, tennis.
She's great at playing tennis, but let's see if we think Victoria is also a great cheater.
Yeah, well, here we go, listen to this one. She was playing in the Australian Open in 2013 and then faked an injury to slow her opponent's comeback. Yeah, bad. She was playing Sloane Stephens and was actually winning, then decided she wants to take a 10-minute break for a medical thing. And that was just after she lost 4 points, so it does seem a little bit dodgy, don't you think? Maria Sharapova even said, every player hits a physical wall in the game, and it was disgraceful that Victoria faked an injury to have a timeout. You don't do stuff like that in tennis. She was winning anyway, obviously feeling a little bit tired and thought, quick, how do I get out of this one? Fake an injury.
Name, Rosie Ruiz. Country, Cuba. Sport, marathon running.
Nobody loves a shortcut more than this lady. It's the disgraced marathon runner, Rosie Ruiz.
Yeah, massive disgrace. I mean, I don't understand how she actually thought she'd get away with it. What goes through your mind when you think, yeah, I'm gonna do a marathon, but halfway through, I'm gonna catch a cab? Ridiculous. She finished in 2 hours, 31 minutes, which was a record. No one had ever beaten that time. And she wasn't even a professional runner. She was just like a random woman, wanted to do a marathon and thought, yeah, let me give it my luck. She was nearly caught out as well at the end because she had flabby legs. And obviously, if you're a marathon runner, you're not going to have flabby legs. They're going to be toned, they're going to be in shape, sharp as steel. And she finished all probably a little bit out of breath, not as much as anyone else. Legs like jelly. Doesn't work, does it, Rosie? She would have actually got away with the New York race if she hadn't have cheated again in Boston. I mean, she was clear for that one, but then got a bit greedy, thought, done a train now, let me do a cab this time. Probably a bus the time after she got away with it, you know, taking down the prices a little bit. Yeah. And then after the race, she was questioned by reporters and news people that were really interested in how she did it. And she replied, I got up with a lot of energy this morning.
Name, Nelson Piquet Jr. Sport, Formula 1.
Did he do a selfless good deed, or is he just a dirty cheat? It's the former F1 driver, Nelson Piquet Jr.
This guy is just a dirty cheat. I can answer your question for you. Let me explain to the viewers what he did. In 2008, at Singapore Grand Prix, Nelson crashed into a circuit wall. This allowed the other rental car driver, Fernando Alonso, to make an early pit stop. Alonso then went on to win the race after he started 15th on the grid. Crazy.
Tricky one, that, isn't it? Yeah. Well, it wasn't actually investigated until the following year, so he got away with it for a little while. And then after this, he went to the F1 governing body because the team fired him. Poor little thing. I put it down to peer pressure. I reckon they all told him to do this. He was obviously the weakest member, maybe not so strong-willed. Made him do it. Poor guy, I see it as. And the rental boss is a dodgy guy as it is. He was paying off people to be quiet about it, and all of that kind of stuff. It's sticky.
Name, Jürgen Klinsmann. Country, Germany. Sport, football.
He's the German footballing legend who dived more than a goalkeeper. It's Jürgen Klinsmann.
All right, this guy is like godfather of diving. I mean, he's credited for being the first player ever to really dive. And that's not a nice thing to be credited for at all. Commentators even refer to his dives as the Klinsmann dive. They call any dive that happens from now on the Klinsmann dive. Horrible.
Okay, but at the end of the day, I mean, when we're looking at the match, West Germany probably would have won the World Cup that year anyway, regardless of what he did. You know, it was a big thing, but I just felt like everyone knew they was going to win it.
Yeah. The incident gave him a really bad name, and his dive actually caused the first ever send-off in a World Cup final. Awful. How can you do that? First ever. And it's not even like it's a little game, it's the World Cup final. Everybody's watching this, it's intense, everyone's on the edge of their seats, and then he dives and gets a man sent off. Evil.
Name, Ben Johnson. Country, Canada. Sport, sprinting.
So he's a man that could have been known as one of the greatest sprinters ever if he wasn't such a dirty cheater. It's Ben Johnson.
Dirty cheater?
Filth.
That's putting it lightly. The guy was filthy. I mean, he's the original doper. He was widely regarded as the first doper in a major competition. So, you know, people may have been doing it, but this guy got the blame. It all started when he beat Liv for Christie and Carl Lewis in a record time of 9.79 seconds, which was unheard of. I mean, that is super, super quick. That's like Usain Bolt quick, and that back then never happened. After the race, they took him aside, they tested him, it came back positive, and he was stripped of his title and banned for 2 years.
Yeah.
Footballers versus rappers. Balotelli versus Wayne. Giggs versus Brown. Booyah! Two men with about as much self-control as a fat kid in a sweet shop, and those kids have no control.